Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And welcome back to Marvel Mania. It's time, finally, for the 2002 Spider-Man film, the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie.
True.
Today, our commentary is brought to you by the one and only, I'm not making that up, it says that, the one and only Newcastle Brown Ale, a beer I have never had before.
It's a beer I like. This one's a little off, but
that's what he says. So I'm going to try it now on camera, and I have nothing else around. I have water. Okay, actually I have a little bit of water left, but I don't have soda or anything. But he has one, so I might steal that from him if I don't like this. But anyway, so I'm going to have a sip of this right now and see if I like this at all.
The one and only engraved on it.
And this is what I'm stuck at. They're real proud of that.
Yeah.
There's nothing else like it, apparently.
Back too.
All right, I don't like the smell of it, so we'll see. Okay, I expected that to be a lot heavier than it is.
Yeah, it's not.
It's a little watery.
Mm-hmm.
I am indifferent toward this beer. I can drink it. It's just fine.
Well, I thought it was just a little off. You might want to try like another six-pack at some point.
Yeah. I can't tell that it's off. Anyway, okay, so this is not Snackvolution. This is a Marvel Mania commentary. So Eric has some kind of a wild plan for this.
I do have.
Are you going to tell us what it is, or do we have to start before?
No.
So I have no idea what we're doing. There's apparently some added crazy thing, you know, sort of like the chess game, but not that.
Yeah.
That Eric has, but he wouldn't tell me what it was.
All right. So
I don't know why.
So I'm going to set up before we do the commentary.
Okay.
So I have with me.
Here he goes. Is this gonna be like beer pong or something?
Ball.
Oh no way!
So what I'm gonna do?
Are we gonna electric shock ourselves?
What you do is it's like hot potato.
No way!
Pass it back and forth
while we're watching Spider-Man.
Shock us.
You should have saved that for Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I should have. Too late.
Because that has the shocker in it. Why didn't you save that?
You mean Electro?
I meant Electro. But it has a shocking character in it. I can't believe I said that. Okay, look.
I wasn't thinking about the future.
Yeah, you know, you weren't thinking fourth dimensionally. Yeah, I was thinking the shocker because you said shock, and now I feel like an idiot. But he's gonna be in Spider-Man: Homecoming, so you could have done it for that too, if we, you know, did one of these for that.
Okay, so here's the thing about this. I don't actually know how to turn this on. I'm gonna assume it's this little key thing. I've played with this.
You didn't even get it out of the box first. We'll have to sit around and watch Eric put together his toy of madness. Okay. How is such a thing allowed to be made and put in stores?
All right, so I'm pretty sure I put this thing and that thing, and then it's going to turn on, and then we're going to pass it back and forth.
Why are we doing this?
Well, we will have to do it for the whole thing, but I thought it might for fun.
I've never been electrically shocked before.
Have you not?
No.
Oh,
never.
You are in for a treat, sir.
I can't believe this is what we're doing.
Well, my thinking was...
I think I'm more annoyed that you didn't save it than I am that we're doing it.
I think that the thing is, you know, we know this film really well. We've both talked about this film at length, so we're going to spice it up a little bit.
We're gonna spice it up. Are you gonna bring ghost peppers one of these days? Or we have to do that? Not.
Maybe hot wings. You don't like wings, but maybe hot wings. That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not like a big fan. I'll eat them. I don't like seek them out.
But we'll get like super hot wings.
I think people are learning so much more about me these days because you've lived with me and you know me really well. Anyway, oh my god, are we doing that?
We're doing this.
Oh boy. Alright. So, if you want to watch Spider-Man with us, if you want to do that, by all means, get a buddy over and pass it around and shock the hell out of yourselves.
You said a bad word.
Anyway, it's not a bad word. I just don't say it all that often. Anyway,
well, I thought that was a word that was off the table unless we're talking about the place.
Not real. I've said it one
time
every now and again. Anyway, so, you know, it's PG before, anyway. Yeah. So, if you want to watch it with us, get out your DVD or your Blu-ray, however you want to watch it, get it to timestamp 0, and get ready to press play when I say now. And I feel like that is as much control as I have over this commentary. Here we go, everybody, please press play. I don't want to do this. Everyone, please press play right Now!
You said you were game for anything.
I did, and that's why I'm not arguing. Oh, but we're gonna have words later, sir.
Alright, let's start. I'm kind of worried it's gonna shock me like the second I turn it on.
I hope it does. I really hope. I hope to hell that it does.
Now, I've played with this before, so I have been shocked.
So you're ready, and you're not too mortified by it. So it's like a hot potato-y thing. Okay, yep. Is it...
Yeah, you're just going to toss it back and forth.
Oh no. I hope it goes under the chair and we can't find it again. I don't actually know
if it's turned on or not yet.
Oh, so now we're just tossing it back and forth. $119 million opening weekend, this movie.
Oh, really?
It was a real big deal, and that's a lot of why... Well, how do we turn it on? Here, you get to find out how we turn it on, because I don't want to get shocked before I deserve it.
Oh no, this is not going to be fun if it doesn't work. I know it works because I played with it before.
Is it this button? Is that a on button?
No, because I think this is
weird.
the on button.
That's the thing that makes it turn on? Is it supposed to light up or something?
Yeah, it does light up. So the question is, why isn't it? I know it works because I played with it at work before.
Okay. With that exact one?
This exact one.
Yeah, okay.
Someone else was going to buy it, but they didn't, so I did.
Well, if it doesn't work, then we're just going to have to talk about Spider-Man.
Yep.
And,
all right, so...
we can do that down the road.
I mean...
That would have been...
So, I have a big...
Well, you can keep messing with it. We'll
complaint with this film.
Yeah?
These credits, man.
You don't like these credits?
I have it with all three of them. They're too long. They're
You don't like they just go on and on and on. It's real old school, and I don't mind it for that. I don't know. I guess I don't mind it.
I always skip the credits.
Really?
Always. Well, much. I mean, yeah.
Are you in the camp that this just isn't that great of a soundtrack?
No, I like the soundtrack.
Okay.
But I'm going to hear it throughout the film.
Well, that's true too. But you know, 89 has a lengthy opening like this too. And of course, Superman has a lengthy opening. And I guess my point is, I would love to dissect this with you and figure out why you think this is too long, because it is.
I feel like 89 doesn't take this long.
It is yeah, it does.
Does it?
I think so.
I feel like these credits are not.
I think this is. Yeah, I think this is not as long as you think it is.
I don't know. We've been talking for a while.
We are nearly to the end of these credits, and we are almost 3 minutes in. I think 89 is maybe that long. I'm not sure, not having it right in front of me, but... Oh, but actually, no, then it does keep going. We're not even to the end of it yet. Well, yeah, you're onto something. For some reason, that never really bothered me.
Yeah, we're still going, man.
But
we haven't even gotten to the Goblin.
But the Superman credits are this long. And it doesn't have all this stuff you're looking at. It's just planets flying at you
yeah,
and credits and score, and the score is, you know,
okay,
trying to really drive that.
We're finally there.
But anyway,
this is not for anyone under the age of 14.
Yeah, it's not a toy, but it is a toy. It's an adult toy, but not like that. Not that kind of a adult toy.
I think you've gone too far on this commentary already.
Have I already?
Already.
Okay. Oh goodness! It must be my one sip of Newcastle Brown Ale.
Yeah.
That's what brown can do for you.
I don't understand. I played with this before. It worked.
I hope it
fun.
Suddenly works.
Just shocks me?
Shocks the crap out of you, yeah.
Oh, but it's got dancing lights.
Did you say dancing lights?
Yeah, dancing lights.
Dancing lights! So I understand why the voiceover is here. I feel like if we creatively used it throughout, it would be better.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm saying that mostly because it's a Spider-Man thing.
Well, to be fair, it's bookended.
Yeah, and but that's my problem with it, is that everything does that. It
no,
doesn't.
Some things forget and do not go back.
That's not, well, sure, but what I mean is there's a lot, and obnoxiously, so there's a lot of things where they kind of like spoon feed morals to you, or they're like giving you the ideas,
yeah.
You know, to in your face with a bookend voiceover, and it's used here, I would assume, mostly because we always have internal monologue with Spider-Man, and because he doesn't have, you know, like a sidekick or somebody really to talk to very much when he's in costume.
So I think this takes batteries.
Mm-hmm. And they're just not in there?
They're just not in there, which makes sense because it would corrode.
Right.
So we'll do this again at the Amazing Spider-Man 2 commentary.
All right, cool.
That's a bummer. That would have been real fun.
Yeah, especially because I'm going to be ready for it next time.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Well, that's unfortunate. But now we can watch and talk about this movie.
We can't watch and talk about this movie. So, I guess right off the bat, Kirsten Dunst, awful.
Yep.
One of the worst actresses to ever live. I don't know about that.
Not to ever live.
No.
She's just not right for this role. Well, and the role is changed because she's playing it. I'm convinced of that.
Oh, really?
I always thought that. And part of the reason I say that is because they steer into it. Out the gate, she feels like, and I've always said this, that she could get to something closer to, or that she's already starting in a place that is much closer to comic book Mary Jane, where she's maybe more of a Spitfire and she has more confidence, or she like tries to put on an air of confidence, and then you find out about her bad family life, and you find out that she, you know, has these insecurities and things, and then that's supposed to make her more layered. Instead, it kind of just plays as more of an excuse for her to be obnoxious.
Yeah. Well, and she's
and unsympathetic, and that's unfortunate. But I always thought that she became more and more of like a typical CW Lana Lang-esque love interest.
I mean,
as the film progresses, and as the films progress.
Yeah. There's a thing about her always trading up.
Yeah.
But
and not giving people a chance to explain themselves.
Oh yeah.
That's a big problem.
But she's...
And acting real entitled.
Yeah, but she's that stock character that we do where it is all popular people are bad people except for this one.
Yeah.
Who's pure-hearted.
That's a great point.
And for some reason is surrounding herself with bad people but doesn't seem to be bothered by that. Like, she's dating Flash, and Flash is the biggest jerk. And that's just not addressed ever. I know that's kind of a trope with high school stuff, but most of the time it's they don't know.
My problem with it more is that she doesn't grow from that. I'm okay with that as a starting place.
I mean, that's a starting place. That's all right. Well,
because there certainly are a lot of people like that.
But she needs to be more.
You can't say your protagonist or your love interest or whatever must be perfect. You know.
Well, that's my problem. Is that she is. Like, if she was a mean girl kind of a character and grew from that, that's fine. The problem is
they're telling us that the way she is behaving is okay.
Yeah.
Not that it's typical high school nonsense that she'll someday evolve out of.
Yeah, she's just because she's pure. She's never bad. She's never. It's just because she's popular. All the popular people are bad people.
What do you think of the fact that the Spider conveniently has the same color scheme as Peter Parker's costume?
I have no opinion.
I just think that's funny.
I do too. Like it's a kind of a thing. Like
it'd be better if he was inspired by it. You know, if you got a good
I always
look at
assumed
it.
that's what that was.
Maybe it is. Because he always starts at that color scheme, right? Like I don't think he.
Yeah, he's got the blue sweatpants and the red sweatshirt.
Well, maybe that is I couldn't remember how good of a look he gets at it. Like, it drops and, like, does he look at it?
I don't remember. It's been a little while.
I forget. Well,
and they're all in this container. Like, he can see them.
Well, that's true, but he doesn't necessarily know. No. But they don't all look like that. And
yeah, they're the 15 super spiders.
Are they all the same? Oh, they are all the same.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
That's such a trailer moment.
Yeah.
The 15 super spiders. There's 14.
Well, and also that. Because they use that in the trailer, too.
Yeah.
With the web. This is a really young James Franco, and so young that he almost feels like a different person to me.
I thought you were going to say so young he almost looks like Dan Torrey.
He does kind of look like Dan Torrey.
Yeah.
But Dan Torrey pulls off that hair.
Yeah. I mean, I guess...
He has curly hair like I do. I've actually... I bring this up because when I was in high school, or just after high school, I used to bring up, because this is before we had smartphones, I used to bring a picture with me to the barbershop of him with that haircut.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I used to have a more similar
I have done that. I have done that with Angel.
When I get it bigger. Yeah.
There was a point in time where I actually styled my hair and like did the up front. Whatever you call that thing.
It felt real nerdy back then. I don't think it would as much now.
Yeah.
All these things we can get away with these days.
Yeah. Where is everyone?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good question.
Because we just had that teacher be like, "Move along, please."
Yeah, and he doesn't come back. He doesn't come back, and he's like, "You're not here to take pictures for your newspaper."
Yeah.
That guy is.
She doesn't even say bye.
That guy's yeah, what a jerk. That guy's voice is way too dramatic for the role he's playing.
Yeah.
Like he seems like he should he should be the beginnings of a supervillain or something.
You were talking about that woman's entire presentation.
That entire presentation.
Let's do what? Like that seems like he's about to do something.
Yep.
Oh, there's some green in there.
I guess just walk away.
Oh, the green is speed. I never noticed that. It tells you like what each of the things is.
It's really funny. It's the same kind of CGI that you had in the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, except next to 2D flat animated people, which always just blew my brain up.
Yeah.
So, does nobody look at this and immediately go, why did you make a supervillain costume?
Well, no, it's a flight suit.
It looks like a supervillain costume. And not just because we see it later as a supervillain. You would not make a flight suit that looks like that.
Well, it's supposed to have weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a military...
Yeah, but I don't know. I would have designed it slightly differently so that it actually, looks like something a military person would wear.
I mean, spoilers, but it's going to be a supervillain costume.
I know
later.
that, but that's my point, is that it's kind of silly, and it's weird to... It's a little weird to reveal your superhero... That guy always plays a general, like, no matter what he's in. But it's a little weird to immediately introduce your supervillain suit like that. I guess we don't see the mask, because they're not going to wear that.
Well, and the mask is weird because... We don't see where he gets the mask, but in, like, the novelization, because he has masks, right? He has masks all over.
No, that's right. So it's just one of those?
It's one of those. Exact same color, exact same material as the suit.
That's weird. All we needed was, like, one quick scene of him, like, welding or something, and you're good.
Did you see...
he has a laboratory. He could do it there.
Did you see the footage that got released a couple of years ago of the test footage for the actual, like, original Goblin suit?
I heard about that. I didn't see it.
It looked great.
Really?
Oh, it looked just like the comics.
And you're like, why?
I don't know how it would actually look on screen, but it would probably be better than this. So I've always liked him.
Me too.
He is in Escape from L.A. He is the president.
I forget where... Is he really? I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
He's the super, like, right-wing nutjob president.
I've been wanting to go back and see that again.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
I thought I had subtitles on.
You do.
Oh, I put French ones on. That's not going to help us. Oh, but they're working, so that's good. There we go. There we go. And now he's going to be a consummate old person and complain about computer jobs.
Yeah, and this is a weird thing. This film is barely not a period piece, right? Like, this film... The way everyone acts, the way everything's set, this could have been set in the 60s. And then we just have a couple of things that make it now.
Yeah, like popular pop artists and stuff.
Yeah. This could have been a period piece film, I genuinely believe. Like, he's writing to those archetypes, like 60s archetypes.
I think it could have felt a little bit more ambiguous timeline-wise. I don't think it... You're right. He is writing those archetypes, and so that makes it feel a little bit anachronistic.
And Sam Raimi's sensibilities are so much more old school. Yeah, but
I don't know. I'm of two minds about it because Spider-Man always was of its time. Whenever it was. It's not a thing like Batman where it's.
I'm not saying it should be a period piece, like Spider-Man in general, but this film, I feel like
things about. But I feel like there are more exceptions than you're letting on. Because we're doing, like, straight-up 90s wrestling and stuff like that. We update the wrestling. Yeah. It's a cage match.
Yeah.
That's true. There's more stuff than you're letting on. But as far as the characterizations go...
Yeah, which is really kind of
right. Although, the way Peter and Mary Jane talk to each other... that is, again, I don't know, I keep saying it like this because I can't think of a better way to say it, but that is CW high school drama writing.
Well,
if this was a yeah, well, but they don't write until the next one.
No, this one's David Cope.
I don't know who that is.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay. But the next one is written by the showrunners and creators of Smallville, and
which is interesting given how much people like that movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying that I don't think that the really hemming and hawing and not really saying anything and trying to be more realistic about the way high school kids talk and ultimately not actually really feeling that realistic.
Right.
I don't think that's what you would get if this were made in the 60s.
Yeah.
As much. I love how melodramatic he is in the scene. It cracks me up.
I mean, he's like that in the whole movie.
Yeah, but it's like he has to know there's an audience watching him. Yeah. But later on, he becomes a crazy person because of the serum he's in.
This is so great. That's clearly what happened.
No, I always like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and he's something of an improvisation actor.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's an actor that tends to add things.
I believe that that's genuinely cold. Like, I don't even think that's an improv. I think that's really cold, and that was his reaction.
No, but he did it in character, which makes it an improv.
Yeah.
You notice how the floor is green?
Yeah. I'm pumping full of green gas.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make this reference, in superhero movie, the parody of this character is the only person in the movie who just is given the same name.
Is his name Norman Osborn?
No, of this scientist guy who's working with Norman Osborn. He's in that movie, and he's given the same name, and he's played by Brent Spiner.
Oh, that's funny.
Mm-hmm. That's Brent Spiner's character.
He's a comic book character.
Is he?
Yeah, he's.
I can't remember what his name is right now.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
But he names it, and if memory serves, in superhero movie, he has the same name.
But yeah, no, he's a comic book character. He's like a lab assistant or something.
Of course, their Spider-Man is now voicing Spider-Man.
He might be the second Green Goblin. I don't remember. He's some kind of comic book character.
There's one before Harry Osborn.
Yeah, there's a. It's either before or after. There's a therapist that Harry goes to and finds out the secrets of the Green Goblin. He becomes a Green Goblin. So it's either before or after Harry. He's either 2 or 3.
So I made this comment in another commentary a couple days ago, but I wanted to bring it up here again. Back to formula is the thing everybody likes to say.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it never gets old.
That's a lot of his lines in this movie.
Yeah, he is everybody's favorite thing about this movie. But anyway, I made the comment, and I wanted to repeat it again here, that I remember the first time I saw this movie in theaters thinking that this was real by the numbers for a movie superhero, or for a superhero movie, and then I had to stop and go, well, wait, what numbers?
Yeah.
Because we hadn't really. So is it just did I think that because of my history with reading comic books, or
not really, because comics aren't structured.
No,
like this.
Or is it like other action movies I've seen, or like what is it? But I don't even know if I was thinking of action movies things. Like I was thinking about things like we're doing like simultaneous origins of a villain and a hero that have nothing to do with each other and conveniently are happening exactly the same time, and
it just.
Yeah, the third act
feels like really
standard
paid by numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Even though maybe the numbers weren't there. And
I like it.
Yeah.
But
this is not okay.
But that's also real 60s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the real problem is just that anybody would be silly enough to keep their window open like that.
Yeah.
Like,
no. I'm not saying that, like, that moment is super innocent.
Yeah.
But there's implications to that moment that are a little bit creepier.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, but a naturally growing hormonal teenager turns around and sees a girl on the other side, and he wasn't, like, you know, stalking her or anything. That is a totally innocent kind of thing, I think. He's not looking at her through a telescope.
No, but...
That's going too far.
It's her bedroom.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's her bedroom.
Right.
He could see into her bedroom whenever, because theoretically, apparently she never closes the blinds.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just creepy implications. It's not as bad as Smallville.
It would maybe...
I also don't know what's going on in this moment here.
It would maybe work if she was intentionally trying to, like tease him or something, but she kind of is oblivious and doesn't know he exists. You know, it'd be almost cool if he thought that about her, but that wasn't actually true. Yeah. And this is all from his perspective, and then you find out, oh no, she actually does know that you exist, and she's, like, waiting for you to grow up or be more mature or to be more assertive.
She makes no sense in this movie.
Yeah.
How much she is or is not aware of Peter Parker will metamorphosize throughout the film.
It just keeps jumping back and forth, yeah. So what did you not understand was going on?
She just stood there and, like, twisted her ankle like she was thinking, and, like, I don't know what she's doing in that moment. And their friends just drive up and they're like, "Hey, MJ, get in." And she's like, "Oh, okay." What was she doing?
She wasn't, like, waiting for them, I don't think.
Yeah, that's not how it plays. And why would their meeting place be in the middle of that street?
Yeah.
Like, what is she doing while he's talking to himself, other than she needs to just stop so he can talk?
I'm gonna meet you smack dab in the middle of 135th and 136th Street. Not even a street corner, just in
it wasn't a street corner. It wasn't even like a shop to denote, like, where she'd be. So how do you feel about James Franco in this?
I like him in this.
You don't like him as he goes forward?
Not as much. And some of that is just having conversations with my wife about it, because she is just, like, beat me over the head with how much she cannot stand him in 2 and 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I like him in 3, but, well, I like him in 3, but
not
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So good. But
I understand where she's coming from, and it is certainly too easy, and he's not enough of a real character.
Oh, absolutely.
Where he just refuses to listen to anything Peter Parker says because drama.
Well, I was talking more from a performance aspect of the character.
Sure.
No one works in Spider-Man 3. And I'd argue that a lot of characters don't work in Spider-Man 2 as well.
That's going to be an interesting watch with you.
You didn't even know I existed.
Except for that one time when you wanted to pose in front of a camera, not because of me, but because of the camera.
So she looks like...
They were trying to play her real charming, and it's not working. And I don't want to say they have no chemistry, but I think most of it's on his end.
She looks a lot like Amy Lee in the face.
I never would have put that together. You think I would almost need a side-by-side comparison? Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, is I always thought my friend's sister kind of looked like her, and then people always thought that she looked like Amy Lee, and I looked at her and Amy Lee, and I was like, oh yeah, they look similar too.
Huh. I mean, I know what Amy Lee looks like, but just not looking at them side-by-side right now. So this is the first, of course, big major departure from what we're used to with Spider-Man. And I go back and forth on the organic webbing. I think now that we've done it the other way, I like it a lot less than I used to.
Right.
It's real convenient that it would just happen to shoot out of your wrist, right?
Yeah.
And also, that seems like real impractical design. That seems like a really good way to get your hand ripped off. But I guess if you're, like, strong enough, you can handle it. We are not up to spec yet with CG to do this scene.
No, we're not.
We are really showing off our effects abilities there. That was... I mean, I want to say it's not necessary. I get what it's doing. It's not like it doesn't serve story at all. You know, it is kind of bullet time. It's look, I can... I have such fast reflexes that I can almost, in my own mind, slow time down. But he does it there. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just have that be slow, and don't do the, like, fly and the... I mean, I guess that's supposed to be also his, you know, trying out all of his senses and realizing that they're all heightened.
But I can't find a good picture to give you an example right now. I'll show you after. I've always liked, I don't know.
I like how big their Flash Thompson is.
Yeah. And he's in, He just got cast in something, didn't he? I like a DC movie or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to say he was cast as somebody. I
hate that.
Yeah.
That always bothers me. And that is a big trope with high school things and superpowers, is if you do anything remotely super, but something that doesn't actually really look super,
yeah,
you're labeled a freak. I mean, that basically looks like, and we get more of this later on with Mary Jane, where people are freaked out by him because he was able to defend himself and they didn't think he was able to do that.
Yeah.
Like, his role is to be the nerd and get beat up there.
Yeah.
And they don't like that he didn't do that. I don't think it's about the double flips and stuff. I really don't.
No.
You know? I think it's more, oh, you didn't meet our expectations, and so, and like, you know, some people might argue, oh, that's what kids would do. I don't know. I think now he's the cool kid.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like it better in Ultimate, where he breaks his hand, and he doesn't even like break his hand. He just catches a punch and it breaks his hand.
And I like it better in Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah.
The speech that Uncle Ben gives him.
Yeah. And that's lifted a lot from Ultimate.
Is
actually.
it?
Oh yeah. He breaks his hand in Ultimate, and it's more egotistical and arrogant in Ultimate.
Yeah.
This looks
and
terrible.
That's what happens in Amazing.
I hate this. Not this. When he's clearly just got like green screen behind him and we're underneath of him.
Yeah.
I don't like it. We could shoot that.
It just looks real fakey. Yeah. I mean, I don't have that much green screen, but yeah, we could.
I mean, you could get like a blue thing and put it behind you.
Well, yeah, but he's running.
Yeah,
I'm just saying you need more space.
I remember always thinking this joke was funny.
I like it. I like the idea that you've grown up with like maybe pulp stuff and old comics and old movies and stuff, and so the first thing that occurs to you is maybe there's a catchword.
I mean,
that would have activated.
Going like this and not working, and then doing this. That's weird, right? Like, this didn't work. Why didn't you do another hand thing? Why would you keep doing this?
Why would you suddenly turn it around? Yeah.
And given how kind of on the line this is between retro and modern, he could have just made them. This film, in this universe, you buy that. You absolutely buy that.
Yeah, and it seemed like Raimi's reasoning for it, because, of course, he is such a purist when it comes to the old Spider-Man comics. Yeah. It strikes me as a little bit head-scratching that this would be the big change he makes.
Yep.
And he really thought that it just wasn't realistic enough. I don't know how this is more realistic. Like, it's all got to be powers, because the thing, especially because you already have pseudoscience and, like out there futuristic technology with the Goblin Glider. We have no explanation as to how you're able to control that glider.
Yeah.
Nothing. You stand on it and you do this and it does what you want it to. If you have that,
why can't you have
your own homemade web shooters?
Well, I think the unrealistic bit is that a kid could make it. I don't think it's that they work. It's that a kid could make it. This 75-year-old kid.
I don't think people would have not accepted that. And I've heard people retroactively say, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't buy that." Yeah, but that's because you've seen this, right?
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, a point I was trying to get to earlier is at the same time as we call a character, and we do this in so many things, and we do this in both this and Amazing Spider-Man, that we act like a kid is a freak. That more with this movie, because he can do something that gets close to looking like superpowers. Mm. We also will have him do something that really is that really does look impossible, and nobody notices or says anything.
No one comments on the spider web on the thing.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Well, and in Amazing Spider-Man, and we do this in Smallville. We do this in other places.
The breaking the backboard.
It's the backboard.
Yep.
And in Smallville, it happens with a scoreboard, and that just drives me crazy.
So, in this scene, they've known each other forever, and they've lived together, or they live right next to each other forever, and sometimes they have a friendship and a bond. This does not exist before this scene. And she does not know who he is.
And it's Smallville.
Yeah.
It's Smallville before those guys get on it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because remember, this comes out a year after that show starts.
What do you think is the...
We were only 7 in, and we were already into the time of the 2nd season of Smallville. Isn't that crazy?
Well, and it's one of the things I think is interesting about this is when I see this, and I'm sure you have the same thing, this feels completely natural. After the 90s and all of that, but now, like, knowing a bit more, why don't you start with Gwen Stacy? Why do you start with Mary Jane? Especially if you're not going to make her Mary Jane.
At the time, I understand that choice.
It's because he's married to her and all of that, right?
And it's also because of the 90s Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
I think. And I mean, like, the 90s X-Men show obviously was more popular and like, was the popular X-Men thing.
Right.
You don't have that with Spider-Man, but I think because Mary Jane was everywhere in the 90s, that has a lot to do with why she's here. We want the iconic stuff that people have heard of.
I just... Like,
because at the time, Gwen Stacy was obscure to people, and, like, that sounds crazy now.
Well, and that made sense to me.
I didn't know who that was for the
longest time. Neither did I. That's what I'm saying. When I watched this the first time, it made sense.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're a historian, if you're going back, especially like Sam Raimi did for this stuff, why wouldn't you do Gwen Stacy? Like,
it's a marketing move. I could even see it being something that Sony might have mandated.
That might be. But, like, I knew Mary Jane was the only girl that I knew for Spider-Man, but I don't think that's true for most people. I think most people didn't even know that. I think the majority of the mainstream audience don't even know Mary Jane.
But if they know anybody, it's her. But I'm not sure about that, Eric.
I'm talking about when this movie comes out.
No, I know that. I get where we're at and what we're talking about. But, like, my dad knew who she was. My dad hasn't read a whole lot of comic books.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I remember distinctly watching the 90s show at one point, and some random girl showing up on screen with glasses, like, screaming at the camera.
Probably Deb Whitman.
And it was either that or some, like, no-name character.
Oh, just a
And my dad was like, is that Mary Jane? And I was like, no, Dad, that's not Mary Jane. So, like, I don't know if you're right about that.
Okay.
That's not a lot to go on or anything, but, I mean, there's just an example. I'm going to see if I can keep myself from not complaining about the math. I always complain about the math. I'll see if I can bring myself to not do that this time.
You mean the math of how long he fights?
Yeah, of like, just the BS explanation that the...
You pin them in 2, therefore you get 100. You're lucky to get that.
Yeah.
And how could you possibly stay in business, like, if you're an above board?
Because he doesn't seem... I guess we were talking about this, but, like, he I've never been able to do anything on this movie without complaining about that.
So I believe this is someone...
Oh, it's got to be.
Like... And I want to say...
The real question is, why isn't Peter Parker in comic books? That's...
Yeah, why isn't he an artist?
Mm-hmm.
This is real unbelievable.
At least that's a skill he has, but it'll never come back again.
No.
And that's, again, one of the big problems with not doing the web shooters is, well, if you're not going to do that, but you're going to make a big deal out of how much he loves science,
right?
You got to give him more sciencey stuff to do, and that's part of why the second one is a little better.
Yeah.
But... Or actually, I think the second one is a lot better, but that's one of the reasons that movie is better.
That's a movie I like less every time I see it.
Yeah, I know. You said that. And I have...
Not like this one, where it's flip-flop. Sometimes I enjoy watching it, sometimes I don't enjoy watching it. It's really where I am in my headspace if I'm being nostalgic or critical. Because I don't think this movie works critically, but I still enjoy this movie, I think. For the most part.
I like that...
It's almost evolved into a camp in my brain. Well, like, I enjoy this, not on an ironic level, but on a...
You're not
thinking about it. Yeah. This stuff doesn't exactly make sense, but who cares? They're having fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly comic booky enough.
Oh yeah.
One thing I like about Rosemary Harris in this is, of course, as everybody always says, she's kind of straight off the page with what she looks like, but she's not, like, bordering on dementia. Like, she's lucid and seems like just an elderly person.
I don't like her.
And I like that, but you don't?
I don't. Okay, but here's the thing. I don't like Aunt May until JMS writes her and until Bendis writes her. So she is accurate. I don't like her.
Because you don't want accurate Aunt May.
Yeah. So that's not a ding against the movie. That's already a thing I'd bring in from the comics.
Well, regardless of whether or not you like that character and you want that version of it, it's kind of cool that they went out and they found a real actress.
Yeah, who really does look like it.
Looks like
yeah,
her.
and plays that part. So,
and of course, she's a stage actress through and through. She had hardly done anything in any movies at all. If she had done movies at all, I forget now. But yeah, she's straight up a stage actress, and I was still on stage up till recently. I think she's still around. I know that sounds awful.
Recently passed away.
Did she? I
think so.
I didn't hear if she did. We should look that up.
But so,
you have your phone?
I do have my phone.
We should. Like, I don't have mine.
Rosemary
Harris.
Yeah.
That we should look at. Anyway.
But so I listen to this soundtrack a lot. I think you've said you have too. Back in the day.
Not the score, but the rock album.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The songs inspired by and in the film, and there's one of them that's by Sum 41.
It's always funny when they say that, and then it's obviously a song that came from a record that they've released already or are about to release. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But there's a song by Sum 41 that's called that's like rock. That's what we're all about. It's what we live for. Yeah. Come on, chat. And like, I felt when I was a kid, I was so like excited. That's the song that's playing on the radio for like 6 seconds before Uncle Ben turns it down. Neither of them are listening to that music. These two people are not listening to that on the radio.
That's why they turned it down. It just happened to show up in there.
I've always liked that. His costume's sticking out the back a little bit when he gets out of the car.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice that.
It's just for me.
Eric's like, I like that. What? Nothing. Something. So yeah, my big question is always, is this an underground wrestling thing? Or is it a mainstream wrestling thing? And clearly it's a mainstream wrestling thing.
My question is always, is Bonesaw ready?
Yeah, he claims he's ready. If he's not, he's hiding it.
It looks
really
mainstream.
Yeah.
Although I guess it's
and also he has to sign a waiver and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
I mean that's the thing is that there's a name of this place. I mean of this organization, and it's like the WCW or something.
There's the first Bruce Campbell cameo. He's having a lot of fun with this role.
Yeah, that's kind of a fun thing they did, I suppose. I mean, it's an obvious thing to do with Sam Raimi, but
it's just putting his buddy in this movie.
Yeah. But what was a lot more fun was him as the tutorial guy in the games.
He's great.
He tells you all the stuff you're supposed to do. It's great. The NYWL.
And she goes on to win like an Oscar or something.
What? Really?
Yeah.
For what?
I think she's impressious.
So it's something wrestling league. I mean, that's an above board.
Yeah.
There's no way it would stay in business. Anyway.
Rosemary Harris is still alive.
I thought so.
She is 89.
Yeah. Cool. Bonesaw is another thing that everybody always references.
Yeah.
And he's become real memey, and it never stops being funny.
Nope, it's always funny. There was that one person. Nope, typed wrong. There was that one person on the live show who was like, I had a conversation this week about who was more ready, Bonesaw or SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was their geekiest thing they did that week.
Yep.
So I need someone to explain to me...
Is the human spider worse than Spider-Man?
Yeah. Why? That seems real arbitrary, right? Ah, the human spider.
It's funny.
That's... Oh, is it? Okay. Thanks for explaining that. I guess he has Stan Lee's sensibilities. He knows what's dramatic and exciting.
True.
What are you looking at now?
I'm looking up Flash Thompson, because I said he's something. I just looked up to see what he is, since I was already on my phone. He's Joe Manganiello. They're really mean, and I've never been okay with how mean they are to this random man up the street.
Yeah, but that's just playing up the drama of wrestling. The problem is I can't tell how real it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It seems like... Because if they just let people come off the streets, it's clearly not fake. But that stuff is stuff you do in fake wrestling.
Yeah. So
Faker wrestling.
So Flash Thompson
Yeah.
is Deathstroke in Ben Affleck's Batman.
Oh, okay.
That's what he is.
Interesting.
Hopefully he's learned how to act a little bit better. Not that he's terrible in this or anything, but if he's going to be the villain of a film...
Well, surely Deathstroke won't be the main villain of that movie, right?
I don't know. That's all we've gotten so far, so that's the assumption everyone's making.
I think that's too much of...
Also, I'm not sure you can just spring a cage match on someone. Like...
Yeah, they're clearly playing up some absurdities on purpose, and I can never decide if it's...
This is a universe
okay or not,
where wrestling is real.
Yeah.
Like, TV, everything that you're seeing on TV, that's all real. You're not watching scripted television.
We're just coming up with excuses to put huge obstacles in his way, and a lot of them feel like really implausible obstacles.
I've never
Why
liked
is this
that joke he makes.
a cage match?
It doesn't feel in character with him.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But most of his jokes in costume are kind of like that, and that's one of the big missteps of these.
But that one's a little...
But it's because he's not, and I've talked about this before, but he's not that person outside of costume. So you have to make it really clear that he, kind of finds this other version of himself when he's in costume.
Right. Which they don't really do.
Which I don't think that they're really doing, yeah.
Peter David talks about that in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. There's a story where you get to see a universe where Aunt May dies instead of Uncle Ben. And he talks to Uncle Ben about like how freeing it is to be Spider-Man. He's like this should be a thing that just people do. Like, if only there was a place where people could go and be completely anonymous and they could just say whatever they want to say.
Yeah, well, and that makes a lot of sense with a full face mask.
Yeah.
Like, you're not letting people in at all. You're not vulnerable in any way. And so you get to completely pretend like you're someone else, and you become that person while you're... I'm not talking about this. I did it already.
Well, there is something I want to say about this. This is why I don't like Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. He plays this scene like a child. Like, he's really eager, and like, I don't know, there's something about how he plays it. I don't know, he doesn't play Peter Parker the way that I see Peter Parker, like, at all. And I think this scene kind of...
I'm going to disagree with you and say that is very much first issue Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like, before he becomes Spider-Man. You're not looking at the different...
That's fair.
Versions of him after he's gone through a character arc.
That's fair.
I mean, in the face, Tobey Maguire has never been what I see as Spider-Man.
Well, and the way...
But I don't have a problem with the way he's playing that scene, necessarily.
The way he plays him throughout all three films is very different from how I see Peter and how Peter... Like, Peter's a kid that keeps to himself and can come off as kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
This is a victim.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. That is problematic. But the kind of eager beaver, like, I'm excited to punch people and get money for it. I'm using my powers for myself. I'm gonna get my car. No, that's what Stan Lee did with it.
That guy, the mugger.
Yeah.
That face is burned in my brain forever. If somebody ever mugs me, I'm probably gonna accidentally finger that
You're gonna
guy.
Think it's that guy. You're gonna have the sketch artist is gonna draw that guy.
That's who it is.
And then later on, we'll find out it's somebody else, and then they're like, "No, you drew the guy from the first Spider-Man movie."
So if you pay attention real closely in the scene, you can see Sandman walking off.
No, you can't.
Oh, was that a retcon?
That's what we call a retcon.
I wasn't planned the whole time?
Or an ad. But yeah, also, why isn't anyone all that surprised that he is using webs and jumping around inside of a cage?
Yeah, and why isn't there any discussion of like, well, you're not allowed to like use weapons other than like what's here?
Well, and that's another thing. I think that guy could have gotten away with, well, you broke the rules, and so you get 100. Like, that would have made more sense.
And I'm
still talking about this.
I believe in Ultimate Spider-Man, he does not use the webs in the wrestling ring. It's something he develops later, or doesn't, or has but doesn't use yet.
And I forget if he uses them in Stan Lee or not, but
he probably does. But Stan Lee Spider-Man goes on like talk shows and stuff.
Yeah, he becomes famous first, which is part of why J. Jonah Jameson vilifying him makes a little more sense there.
Yep. That's the thing we never bring over in any adaptation of Spider-Man.
That he tries and gets closer to being a celebrity first.
Even as Spider-Man,
Yeah.
after Uncle Ben, he still kind of goes the wrong way a little bit. Yeah, no, that's not a thing we do.
Well, but that's one thing I like about Amazing over this, is that it does it darker, but it still does that.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
not just Uncle Ben dies and then he understands the responsibility lesson because he told it to him. It's because he has to learn it the hard way and then get what he was talking about. And this
Yep.
movie doesn't quite get there.
So if you're
and
going to do that
one
whole
thing
scene they just did,
Yeah.
you can't have that hole in the face. Like, this all looks all right except for the PlayStation 2 face there.
I'm with you.
Anyways, sorry.
But nothing is worse than when we close up on Harry Potter. Anyway,
Oh, when he's Quidditch?
no,
Is it Quidditch?
Nope. It's the bathroom scene with the troll. Have I ever told you about this?
I think you have.
If you look real close, the CG, they're not even trying to make it look like Ratcliffe. It's the drawings on the book covers, and it's hilarious. I will
That's not
freeze
bad
frame that for
CGI.
you at some point.
That's intentional homages.
It's sure. I noticed it the first time I saw that movie, and I could not believe they did that. I about stood up and yelled at the screen. It was crazy.
So you're talking about thematic stuff.
One thing I almost appreciate Spider-Man 3 for, although once you draw attention to this, you're kind of stuck. I don't really know.
Right.
I don't really know where you go with it. Is that it does kind of look like not that Peter Parker murders this guy, but that there's like a case to be made that there's a crime.
I've always thought there was a case to be made that Spider-Man murdered this guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's kind of... I mean, it is
right
an
here, he
accident.
tries to kill him.
Yeah, but, I mean, it is an accident that he trips
Yeah.
and he falls out the window. And then Spider-Man ends up, becoming a superhero and a role model that kids are supposed to look up to. And because he's wearing a mask, he's able to just kind of sweep that under the rug. And then Mary Jane questions it in 3, which kind of feels like the movie trying to answer fans that have asked about it.
And she's not the character to ask that. It's J. Jonah Jameson, right? Like,
well, that's fair too, but I don't know. I mean, in that context of his just finding out about it, obviously he's not telling J. Jonah Jameson about that. So no.
well, but it seems like there would be an open police investigation after this, and then Spider-Man,
sure.
and that's how you do. Because this is the thing that I think this is one of the things that Raimi gets really wrong. Spider-Man is not a popular public figure. He's disliked. In all 3 of these movies, he's only disliked when we need Spider-Man to be on the run for a couple of scenes. Everyone always loves Spider-Man.
That's not true. It goes back and forth, and it very much in a really like simple way goes back and forth. So like now we need him to be vilified. Now we need him to be everyone to love him. So like there are some people that like him a little bit, but mostly he's vilified at the beginning of 2, and then in 3 the whole universe loves him. So that then when he goes dark, he can do bad things. No, in this, there's a montage of these people like him,
and
these
everyone
people
loves
don't
him
like
at the end of 2. I mean, I guess that's...
But that's supposed to be kind of your lead-in for then 3, we've got a parade and stuff.
Homecoming has to do one thing to make me love it. The whole city does not have to come together and rally to help Spider-Man stop the villain.
It's become a tradition. We have to do it now.
I couldn't believe it when it happened in Amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how are we still doing this?
Now, to be fair, like, he doesn't push him. He's not even close to him.
But there's cops there with a spotlight.
Yeah.
He's a suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not talking about whether or not there's a case to be made to put him on trial in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, like, ethically and philosophically, is he at all responsible for that?
I mean, he breaks his hand, then he stumbles back. I mean...
And,
maybe.
like, that wouldn't have happened if he hadn't gone after him the way he did, and
well, yeah,
proper channels and all of that. I'm just saying, like he's never gonna really pay it all for that if we think that there should be consequences.
But couldn't you ask the same question about Norman Osborn?
What do you mean?
About the death of Norman Osborn? Isn't he also responsible for that in the same way?
Yeah, but that he
I guess he does pay.
He arguably there are consequences for that. whether you think that they're severe enough or that the films handle that well. But I'm just saying that, like, that's a thing that we sort of sweep under the rug, and then, like he's got this kind of this kind of dark streak that we, again, kind of sweep under the rug. And then 3, that's supposed to be indicative of what the suit, like, what the black suit, like seeps into and brings out of him, which I think could have been handled better. But, like, I don't know, a part of me appreciates their drawing attention to it, and a part of me kind of thinks that you almost can't to make him very sympathetic, especially because a lot of us already feel like he's a little too whiny, and as you say, kind of victimized, and, like,
yeah,
you can't, and you shouldn't do this anyway, but you can't play him as the victim and also have this, like, kind of murky moment like that.
Yeah. So I just need a couple lines from this general. Just saying...
Yay! That transition has always made me laugh.
He prefers advancing technology as opposed to altering human DNA. I've never actually understood, why is this better than what Norman Osborn was doing?
It looks a lot clunkier.
Yeah. If he just has a line about how...
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
They're very different technologies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a person in a suit that kills things.
Especially because he's like, I've seen the glider. And it's like, well, that looks like it's already more advanced and more agile than the thing you just looked at.
Yeah. No, you're right. All he has to say is, we're having to change people in order to make the, it's inhumane. It's unethical.
Yeah. If there's just something about that, then it makes perfect sense. As is now, it's weird.
Do they come out and tell us that's the reason?
No. No, that's what I'm saying, is that they should. We're just told that he, for some reason, likes this company better.
Can I just say that I like that the robes are green?
Yeah, that's true.
Never thought of that. I mean, you see a lot of graduation robes that are green, but that is probably intentional.
Yeah. He would have been such a great Joker.
I think so, too.
People still want to cast him as a Joker, and I was like, that just will never happen. I mean, he would still be great, but...
I don't know that the Joker can be too old,
necessarily. No. I don't mean age. I mean...
I'm just saying, that, like as I'm thinking about it, like, if you could get him to do it.
No, he would have been the perfect Joker for Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can play Joker and the Green Goblin.
That many
you can play Joker and the Hobgoblin, but not Joker and the Green Goblin.
I think you could. I mean, that many years apart.
I don't know. It's so iconic. Although he is playing a character in a DC film. He's somebody. General so-and-so.
I had heard that he was in there, that he was in something, but yeah, I mean, like,
he's in Justice League.
Like, why? I don't understand your blanket statement. Why can't you? Like,
I don't know. It just.
I mean, I said years ago, before Captain America came out, that it was unfair that Chris Evans was getting to play another Marvel character, and then he was great, and I can't imagine anybody else playing that. So, like, I'm not on that track anymore. Like, why can't he? It's not like they wouldn't cast him because he played Green Goblin 16 years ago, 14 years ago.
No, it was just a couple of years ago. It wasn't 16.
Well, it wasn't. It was 14. But I'm just saying that, like, that wouldn't. In fact, that would be at this point, that would be like a credit in your resume that would help you get that job.
You might be right. Yeah.
Things have changed, man. Like,
he
would probably do it.
Let's get rid of the ghetto loser, and let's bring in the real Joker. I think he's Commissioner Gordon. Maybe he's somebody.
No. Gordon is J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And he's going to be in Justice League for all of 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, and I think he is as well. But part of that is because like they announced that he was in it, but I think we still don't know who he is. And I was like, well, he's going to be like a general, and he's going to be there for like 6 seconds. He's going to tell the Justice League that they don't know what they're doing, and then. Or he'll be the bad guy.
The problem with the great power line for me has always been, it's too on the nose because he's gonna get superpowers. Like, that's just not like it works fine in a Stan Lee melodramatic comic that's mostly meant for like 11
no
or
one
12-year-olds. But
in Amazing Fantasy, it is a caption at the end. No one says it.
Yeah. Well, okay, I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean the fact, and I've reviewed that issue at length.
Do they buy diamonds?
Was that?
They said we buy diamonds.
They do.
Like, do they buy diamonds?
They do. But only when it's not flashing. But yeah, like, if you were saying that to your kid, like, would you say power? You know?
Yeah.
See, that guy doesn't like him, but that other guy does like him.
And he's a comedian. Who I think was a minor comedian, but is now a larger comedian. And I still don't see Xena.
I just know her voice and her facial structure and all that. This is another thing we can't get away from. We have to constantly put the 60s Spider-Man theme in Spider-Man movies. We're still like, you would think that Amazing Spider-Man would have worked harder so that people wouldn't complain that it ripped off entire scenes and elements and things from this. And it does, and it's not just going back to source material. It's like, you were way more influenced by this than I would have expected you to be. And I said before that, when that was first announced, that, like, now we need, like, we need maybe some years in between. You shouldn't reboot this quickly, because the most popular Spider-Man thing that you have that people are most likely to be influenced by are these movies. And I like Amazing more than a lot of people, but I was right about that. Because if we'd waited 5 or 10 years, that would not have happened.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Oh,
well, I mean, I think it could have happened.
Yeah.
If I did it, it wouldn't have happened. Like, if you got people that were actually comic book fans, like, knew the source material to go back to, so it was different. There's Ted Raimi.
Yep. That's Joxer the Mighty.
Oh, is he? In Xena and Hercules?
And he was also in Sequest.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't know he was, like, actually an actor at all. I assumed he just showed up in his brother's stuff.
Well, there's some connection that gets him to Sequest, too, but
I
think. But yeah, I mean, I think he is kind of riding those tails a little bit, but I like him.
I think he co-writes as well.
Does he?
Yeah, I think he works with his brother and does, like, small parts.
Isn't he in Darkman? He's in Darkman.
I believe so.
He either loses his head coming out of a manhole cover or almost loses his head coming out of a manhole cover. I can't remember now.
I don't know if...
it's been too long.
If you know this, I should have brought it up earlier. When Uncle Ben takes him to the library, that car is Sam Raimi's car. It no longer runs. He's had it since, I think, high school, and is in every single one of his movies. Until Spider-Man 3.
Did something happen to it?
They say they have to gut the car to get a certain shot, and Bruce Campbell was on set, and he's like, "That's what Sam would want," and so they do it, because apparently he'd been trying to get Sam to get rid of that car for forever.
Was he okay with it?
Apparently, Sam yells to him, "You will never kill the Classic." That's the car's name. It's the Classic. So yeah, it is in a crate somewhere. It's still not gone. Yeah,
that's funny.
That's a whole story that Bruce Campbell tells in his autobiography, which I've read.
Interesting.
Which is
what possessed you to read that?
I like Bruce Campbell. It's about half autobiography and half like crash course on like cheap filmmaking. He talks a lot
about
a
thing he knows about.
He talks a lot about all the like camera rigs that they came up with for Evil Dead and like stuff like that. Like it's real helpful if you want to make films on the cheap. She has this weird delivery here. What is that? Now, don't tell Harry. Like she puts on like an accent for one line. I've always thought that was a weird delivery.
Okay.
Look, I have a lot of opinions about this film. I have seen this a lot.
Well, I mean, I can try to explain that if you want me to. I don't think that's a big... It's not the only time she does it, first of all.
Is it not?
She has a couple of places where she goes into that kind of more high-pitched... That's her, like, cute, I'm being flirtatious voice. You know, it's kind of like a baby voice.
I always read it as kind of New Yorker-y, but I could see it's almost Betty Boopy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's what that's supposed to be.
Oh, is he doing smart person stuff? Guess he better wear glasses.
Yeah, but at least it's a person in a movie with glasses.
But they only wear them when they're doing things like this.
Well, some people do have reading glasses, but you're right. Okay, well, my real complaint, the real complaint about the Osbournes should be that they don't have red lines going through their hair.
That's true.
That stay there when you turn your head.
Yep.
That was a big misstep. They should have had that.
Yeah.
I hope they fix that next time around. You know, I hope they have the weird red and black highlights.
So, here's the thing that I'm not sure I completely understand. Okay. So he wants to find his own work.
It looks like a security grid. Sorry, go ahead.
He doesn't want to get a job because, he doesn't want a handout, right? Right. That's the idea. Mm-hmm. That's not how getting jobs work.
What do you mean?
You get a job because you know somebody, for the most part. That's how most jobs work. But even if he thinks he's going to give him, a high-paying job, he can start at the ground floor. I don't feel like that's inherently a noble thing to be no, I don't ever want anyone to help me get a job ever. You know what I mean?
Yes, but you're wrong.
Okay.
I think. Because you're pulling from a modern sensibility that is not the way he would have been raised by Uncle Ben.
Okay. Uncle Ben was wrong, and that's why he couldn't find work at the beginning of this film.
Sure, absolutely, but that's a pride thing?
Yeah.
It's like a massive pride thing, like fully finding a job on your own steam. Knowing someone, getting a job, and obviously this is a fictional character that I don't personally know, but my guess, from his upbringing, as old as he is here, would have been, what, in the 40s?
Uncle Ben?
Yeah. He looks like he's probably in
60?
his... I'd say he's close to 70.
Okay. Let's say 70.
Maybe 65.
Let's just round to 2000. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Well, and I would assume, and I wish they had talked about this, that part of what sucks about all that is that he is retirement age and he shouldn't have to keep working, but he does. They should have talked about that.
Yeah.
If they were going to cast him that old. And of course, Aunt May looks like she's 75 or 90.
Yeah.
So, I don't mean here, but she usually looks like she's, anywhere between there.
75 or 90.
It's one of those.
She's 89 right now.
That's right. I just mean that character.
And she's huge now. She's Rita Repulsa.
Isn't that great? And she's wild-styled.
She is. And she's also in a lot of other things I like. I like her quite a bit.
I like the Oscorp building, but it looks like it could be a hotel.
It does.
Anyway, what was I talking about?
Evil Boardroom.
Oh, that's it! Where's my...
Also...
A villain with a shirt off?
Yeah, when he gets turned into... It's not what I meant by that.
Say Bonesaw.
It's not what I meant by...
Not a villain.
It's not what I meant by bare-chested villain, but... he does not wear a shirt
when he first goes... Anyways, so, but I don't know, growing up in the 40s, I would think that there would be a distinction maybe, with his conservative, work-hard worldview.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you know somebody out of your own accord because, you cultivated a relationship, that is different than my best friend's dad.
Sure. Okay. But now I feel like that's what the movie should be about, and we could have explored the fact that he's wrong, and that...
Yeah.
That's what put him in his situation. If you think he's wrong,
I can see an argument to be made both ways, maybe, but... But I see what you're saying. It's not like he wouldn't still have to work hard.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's just giving him a job because he knows him. It's like, I see
smart.
Potential, and here's things that... Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, if I were him, I would take that job and not feel like I just got...
Or at the very least, say, I will only take an entry-level position, and if I'm worth it, I will work my way up.
Yeah. Which would be a presumptuous thing to say, because that's probably what he's talking about in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's no way
if he offers more than that.
Exactly, but that's what I mean. There's no way he's not offering an entry-level job.
So, yeah, As Told by Ginger.
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
She sings a theme song for As Told by Ginger.
I don't know what that is.
Which was a Nick cartoon around the time this show came out.
Never heard of that.
It was alright.
I don't know what it was about this dress. We made such a big deal out of this dress.
This one?
Yes.
This Japanese
in
one.
advertising, and there was like a doll, I think, and action figures and stuff.
He has no idea how to talk, like, at all. Like,
I'm not great, or the actor?
No, the character. I'm not great at talking and not like saying things I shouldn't say.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I've got a little bit.
That's true. I agree with that.
You would never say to your girlfriend, "Oh, you should have worn the black dress. My father likes black." Like, you don't say that.
Yeah, but that's. But that's not a thing I can criticize. That's that character.
Oh no, I'm not criticizing the character, the script. I'm criticizing the character, if that makes sense.
Well, I usually blame the parents.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure.
That's kind of the idea, and I like something else that we really should have dealt with more. By the way, Singular is no longer a thing. That's AT&T now, and I was with them when they were Singular. And they
how was their service?
They get bought out about like AT&T. It was fine. I mean, that's all I've ever used. But I think they become AT&T again in like 04, 05, I forget. I can't remember if they got bought out or if they like were AT&T and they changed the name back. I can't remember. It's one of those two things. But anyways, we could have also done some character identity stuff with how much of the Green Goblin personality is like Norman Osborn's real dark side, because we play it as kind of just a generic evil entity that, or not entity, but like, you know, personality that he just generically has because he got on this stuff. But later on, he's going to say in there, Stanley, he's going to say some really awful, off-color, sexist things about Mary Jane, and that's the part of that guy that influences Harry Osborn saying the line about the black dress. But the way I really wish we did something with that.
But the way that it plays in the film, it almost feels more like the Goblin's just coming out more and more. The Superman shot?
Yeah, exactly. But like that should come from him somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they did that on purpose. I kind of don't think they did. I think that was a happy accident. And movie over.
Yeah.
Because he has now accomplished his goals, and I have no idea from here on. This is the first time this is the first close-up we get of his face, and he already has gotten what he came here for.
Yeah, his character arc is done.
That's it. He got his revenge.
Yeah.
It was real easy. Movie over.
So, I know it's been said 1,000 times.
But yeah, I hate the Superman shot. Why would you do that?
I don't know. I know it's been said 1,000 times. You take a man with one of the most expressive faces in the world, and you put him in a big mouth thing where you could sometimes kind of see
what
his
Weird
face.
Al called a dumb Power Ranger mask.
Yeah.
And he is scarier without it on.
Yeah. Now, I do wonder, is that a thing that we only complain about? Do normal people complain about that, or did normal people complain about that? Or is that a comic book fan thing?
I also always hated this. It does not look like it's really there.
No. And
the proportions are confused. Like, it's a big perspective problem. When he's gliding in front of those people, he does not look like the right size in proportion to them. Yeah. It's strange. It reminds me of a weird close-up shot we did in a first season episode of Smallville with Lex in a sports car, like coming at the screen, and it was clearly green screened, and it didn't look like it was remotely there or the right proportions to the background.
If he just lets her die, he's going to save himself a lot of stress moving forward.
It's a good point, yeah. Boy, if you could go back and do it all over again. This is just the silliest costume. And it looks like... It looks foamy, too.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a Power Rangers costume.
If you punch it, your hand will bounce off of it.
Did his arm look stretchy there for a second?
You know, that's a place where I might have put in the line, this looks important.
Yeah. That'll come later.
He's not talking enough.
No, he's not. He's completely silent through this whole sequence.
And again, we haven't made it... And that makes it a real standard generic superhero sequence, where like that could be anybody.
Yeah, no, he should be quipping all over
Besides
the
the fact
place.
that he's swinging around.
It's
but,
weird that
again, that doesn't reflect his real personality, unless it's supposed to be... He's got a different identity when he wears that mask. He can be confident, because...
Well, and it's weird that...
He's not vulnerable.
These movies get that so wrong, and I don't know anything else with Spider-Man that gets it wrong. Like, he's quipping the 60s cartoon.
Amazing managed it fine.
Yeah.
I think. And clearly
The
Homecoming
video games do it.
knows what it's doing with that. Or at least Civil War did, so...
Yeah, it is really weird to just see, like, Spider-Man joking in the trailer for Homecoming. It's like, oh yeah, that feels exactly like what Spider-Man's supposed to feel like. It's real weird
and
here.
This, when he does it, it's obligatory. It's that character is supposed to do that.
Or it's dumb one-liners. Like, it's more action movie stuff.
Yeah, but the way he delivers it, it's clear that they're trying to appease the people that know this material and know that he's supposed to do that. It doesn't look at his face. That kid doesn't talk like that.
You're the one who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind. That's how he delivers it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, that's right. This is not a guy that diffuses tense situations with humor.
No.
He's a guy who... The big thing is he's too internalized. Peter Parker is not that introspective is not the right word, because he is that. But
yeah.
He's not so internalized.
You know, Peter Parker, yeah, at the very least, is a sarcastic person in his normal life. Like, he can't help it.
He's not a natural extrovert, but he wants to be, so he tries that. And this guy, like, just totally loses himself in a moment.
Yeah.
He recedes into his head, and...
He's not Peter Parker. He's not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
These are not Spider-Man movies about a character named Spider-Man with a character named Peter Parker.
I mean, every now and again, there's flashes of it, but I would, generally speaking, not describe Peter Parker as a catatonic character.
Yeah.
And that is this guy.
But you know... Given that we started with a catatonic
why does
character,
he think that guy is going to come back?
It makes...
There's no reason he would think Green Goblin would return.
He said...
Does he say...
I'll see you again, Spider-Man!
Oh, does he say that? Oh, I guess that's the reason. Oh. That's just a nice thing to say when you're flying off. I forgot he said that. Anyway, I'm sorry. I like the scene.
I do too. And this is all 90s cartoon stuff.
It's great. And he's using that kind of voice, right?
Yeah.
The real nasally, high-pitched...
But given that we start with a catatonic hero, with real nebulous motivations and, like, character nuance, it makes perfect sense that you get the Smallville guys.
Yeah, it is. It does. That's the thing, is that Spider-Man is proactive. I mean, like, yeah, he can be a really brutish character. And again, he is a loner. And he is the guy that, like, walks down the street with his head down in the rain and constantly threatens to take his costume off.
Yeah.
He does do that.
He's put upon, he's not...
But when he's out of costume...
He's not a loser?
With other people, yeah...
I mean, I know he starts there a little bit in the early Stan Lee stuff, but by the time we get to the John Romita stuff, he's not. I mean, John Romita Sr. Like, he's not a loser.
He's not trying not to be.
Yeah.
And at his most devastated, he'll say it's all my fault, but he's not...
Oh, he has massive emotional hang-ups, but he's not like this. So, we missed it. One of my favorite lines in this movie is "Follow the chill down the back of your spine."
Yes.
That's so good.
It's great.
Look how great he is with his face.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you cover that up?
And again, you know, the obvious character mirroring here that we're trying to do with the two sides of the coin is
that we have a mirror.
Well, there's that. There's that. These two people are the same person.
Look how scary he is!
Yeah, he's mortifying. He's scarier without it on. You know, honestly, he should get crazy enough that he just takes off the mask at the end. That would be one of the few places where you wish the bad guy or the hero was not wearing a mask.
Bendis kind of does that at the end of Siege. Because he's Iron Patriot at that point, and he takes his helmet off, and he's just so, like, far gone crazy. He's painted his face green.
I like this line. In print, it's libel.
I kind of... Like, he's so good at this, I bet you a lot of this is improv. Not all of it, but, like, I bet you they had lines and they did other takes.
I think so, too, yeah. And he probably came up with things to add.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat that Peter Parker sums up his character in that scene with one line of dialogue.
Now,
his problem is that he doesn't trust people. This
is great.
That's a lot of his character.
This tells us a lot about Jameson.
He feels like he has to drag down somebody or an actual hero in order to feel better about himself. But
this tells us a lot about the fact that he instantly says, "I don't know who that guy is." He sends his pictures in the mail.
Yeah,
like that tells you a lot about who Jameson is.
That's true. That immediately makes him more sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
That he's covering for Peter Parker, and that a lot of his scumbaggery is an act.
Yeah.
I mean, he is all about himself and all about making money, but
he doesn't not care about people.
Yeah.
Which is the balancing act
when
with
the
Jameson.
chips are down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When things are serious. So why does this scene exist?
Because we don't know what to do with him now. He's already accomplished his goals, so we have to go to the standard the villain asked the hero to join him bit, which is one of the big things in the theater that made me go, this is like every superhero movie I've ever seen. Oh wait, we haven't made very many of those.
Yeah. And after this movie actually happens, how many are just this?
There's a lot, yeah?
Are there?
I feel like there is. Or at least in my brain, it's always seemed that way, yeah.
I don't think there actually are.
Well, there is a lot of, in some capacity, the villain asking the hero to join him. And,
well, yeah.
And a lot of it is like smaller superhero movies you don't immediately think of.
Yeah,
you
that's
just
exactly
mean this whole formula,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, this whole formula. How often do we actually see it used? I'm not saying it never gets used, but
it's
not as much as we think about this as the boiled down superhero movie.
But in this, it's like all the tropes, right? And in other things, it's like 50%, 75% of it. You got a little.
I'm noticing that the way the light hits, because it's purple light, sometimes it actually looks like that back bit is purple, like in the comics, and that's kind of nice.
It's probably completely accidental.
I'm sure it is.
They probably didn't do that on purpose at all.
That's a real, like, abusive spouse, abusive parent kind of a line.
I always want that newspaper after that transition to say, Spider-Man and Green Goblin team up! Like, just immediately, we've cut to the future and Spider-Man's like, okay, whatever, fine, I'll do that.
But that's a real, like, abusive spouse, abusive parent kind of line where he's like, you wouldn't
want that, would you?
Or we could fight each other. Is that what you want? It's like, really? There's no other option?
It's real passive-aggressive. We could do one of these two things. There's no middle road.
Because again, starting at a certain point in this movie, they're real old friends.
Unless this is just all based on that one conversation they had outside with the trash.
I mean, I agree with that soap opera. I think she could use some acting lessons, but
I'd like a cheeseburger.
I would too.
Sounds really good. Yeah, we should get a cheeseburger.
Oh, we should get a cheeseburger.
We can't right now though, because we're making a commentary.
Well,
how could we?
How loose are these commentaries allowed to be? Could we leave for 20 minutes and come back?
Loose? I don't know. Could one of us leave, and the other person like? How much time do we have? Like, I don't think we can really make that happen. Like, well, let's see. No, we could. We're at an hour 20. There's still what, 40 minutes left? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you could I don't know if you could hold this that long by yourself while I go to McDonald's, but
I could do that.
that'd be
I said that last time.
That'd be
I did pretty good.
I mean, it's right up the street, you know.
It's right up the street. Maybe we can go after.
That'd be a thing we've never done before.
I mean, if you want
Trying to add a little bit of spice to these commentaries. My spice are me not being here for some amount of time. Yeah, it could be like, okay, cool, now I can
theoretically,
talk without
in my brain, it's really
interruption.
Of you just leaving.
I mean, Eric really wants a cheeseburger.
I do really want a cheeseburger.
Okay, I'll go get you a cheeseburger.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am. I'm absolutely serious.
All right, I guess it's just me, guys.
It's just you. I'll be right back.
Go quickly. Hey, do you want money?
No, I'll get it later.
Okay. You owe me for that pop anyways.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So hello, everyone. We're watching a wet t-shirt contest. So, I've never understood in this scene, why doesn't he have time to put his mask on? Like, that's not exactly, and she's way too excited by him fighting them, but he has time to put on his whole costume, but not his mask, because it's dramatic for him to run away. Like, what is this? I don't understand. And that was real fast. Like, if he can that quickly put his mask on, why doesn't he just have his mask on? I don't understand. It's not just like a logic thing. I also don't understand, like, what tension does it add for him to not have his mask on and her not see him? Like, if this was the moment that we go back to, we're like, well, yeah, I saw you in the rain, and you didn't have your mask on, so I knew it was you. But we don't. We never go back to this moment, except for the fact that Mary Jane's turn on is kissing upside down. We'll find that out in Spider-Man 2. That mask is clearly really difficult to pull down. Like, they want it to be like in the comics where it's just like cloth, but it's not. So like she's clearly having to put an effort to pull it down. You know, I hope no one's disappointed. You know, people come to this channel for Captain Logan, and he's not here. He's not present. The captain's chair is vacant. I guess I am acting captain for right now. But, yeah. She's supposed to have... I think she's supposed to be emulating the audience in, like, her wonder, but she was almost murdered, and probably some other things. I feel like she'd be a little bit more concerned about that. And then we have this fire scene, which is kind of iconic, but also the same scene that we had before. Like, we have that scene with the Green Goblin where he's like, think about it, hero! And now we're... I mean, like, I know he says, I've given you time to think about it, hero! But we really just needed one of these, didn't we? Like, we didn't... Like, it's not like we set up a ticking time bomb where, like, he has a span of time to make a decision. It doesn't work like it's just, hey, you should join me. I'll give you some time to think about it. Then we have another scene, and then we cut back, and now the time is up. Like, Peter hasn't really been doing anything else. I don't know. It's not great. Has he been that whole time, or does he, like, blow up the building? Okay, 3 questions. 1, did the Green Goblin start this fire? 2, if he didn't start the fire, did he fly around until he found a fire and then just hung out in the building? Or did he find a building that was on fire, waited for Spider-Man to swing by, and then he went in, like, secretly in the back? And I guess 2 and 3 also apply to 1, like, even if he blew this building up, is he just hanging out in there? That mask doesn't seem like it's especially smoke-proof. Like, there's still a good chance he's just gonna pass out. Maybe the Goblin Serum gets rid of that. That seems pretty scary. Like, the actual, like, flip around? I don't know. Also, how is he supposed to get in... There it is. How is he supposed to get in contact with the Goblin? Like, to tell him, like, yeah, man, like, let's be evil? Like, I kind of think Spider-Man should just say yes and be like, alright, so what's the plan? And then Green Goblin will not have a plan. You can tell the Matrix just came out. Yeah, none of this makes any sense. Green Goblin's a villain that, in this film, I like, and I kind of give a pass because Willem Dafoe is so great in this movie. But nothing he does makes any sense. It only exists to give conflict, I guess. Like, he's real angry about no one says no to me. Like, is that really all? Like, is that the motivation for the rest of the movie? Is that Spider-Man said no, therefore he's angry? Like, in the comics, when Green Goblin, like, breaks down and finds out who Spider-Man is, he does it because Spider-Man keeps thwarting his plans. He keeps trying to take over the mob, and he's just done with it. I don't know. Okay, so they think he's gone. There's people in the house, but he's gonna go into his room. Like, wouldn't it make more sense? I'm just picking this part of this movie by myself right now. Wouldn't it make more sense for him to be on the roof, like, go down into the building, take his costume off, and then, like, go to the front door? Oh, I guess the idea is that his clothes are here. He has not yet learned the Ultimate Spider-Man trick of carrying a backpack with you, but... Like, where were his clothes in the first place? Did he leave as Spider-Man? Usually Spider-Man, like, webs his clothes up somewhere so he can change back. I do like the blood drop, and then it's like a heightened sense. It's kind of weird that he's, like, immediately like, is that Spider-Man? Also, he's supposed to be showing up for Thanksgiving dinner. Why would he pick Thanksgiving, given that he did not give an actual timetable? Why would he pick Thanksgiving to be the day that he maybe blows up a building, maybe goes to a burning building? I don't know. I mean, I could make even less sense, but that's just kind of picking apart comic book stuff. But, like, even if he did blow up that building and turn it on fire, how could he possibly know that Spider-Man was going to swing by? I mean, I'll give it that. I mean, you gotta give a lot of movies that, but, you know, if I'm gonna pick it apart. So, do we need the blood drop scene if we have this scene? Like, does he actually suspect that he's Spider-Man? That cut actually doesn't look that deep. I don't know if I feel like... I'm just picking this movie apart at this point. I don't know if I feel like Aunt May and Norman Osborn have ever met each other before this. I don't know. So, given that I think it's at Oscorp. I think it's at Oscorp Labs that he gets bit by the spider. This would be a good time to have, like, a scene where he goes back to his office and, like, looks at security footage. He's like, who is it that got bit by that spider? Oh, it was that Parker. He's Spider-Man. So, this is the scene we were talking about earlier. It does kind of play like, it does kind of play like it's just kind of the Goblin Serum getting a hold of him, but Harry sticking up for him really does add to the idea that, like, that is kind of how he was raised. Like, he doesn't immediately hear that and be like, well, that's a terrible thing, like that my father just said. This scene's so good. Like, his voice is so great that, like, just seeing the mask, like, it totally works. I don't know. Willem Dafoe's great. I see, but how is not the question, but why is the question. This is all great. I just need to know why we're doing this. Oh no. This has always been weird. It's really well shot and it looks really cool, but could he hear her outside? Like, as he was, like, flying up, was he like, man, I hope she's praying so I can make her finish the prayer? It's real weird. It's creepy, but it's weird. And this is maybe one of the few instances where where Aunt May, like, has, like, a heart attack or something, and it's brought on by, like, legitimate causes, not just, like, contrived writing so that Spider-Man feels, you know, responsible or whatever. Like, it legitimately is a dude in a scary costume blew up the side of her house and flew into her bedroom. But what did he do to her? Like, he just kind of shows up and yells, finish it. And then he leaves? Like, he's just spooking her? I guess the assumption is that would have been enough to, like, make her have a heart attack and die? I never really thought about that, but, like, what is the plan there? Is it just spooking her? I'll have to remember that for when Cap comes back, and I'll bring that up to him and see what he thinks. So once again, at the beginning of this film, Mary Jane barely knows that Peter Parker exists. Now she's visiting his dying aunt, because we've also retconned that their aunts are friends. Or her mom and her aunt. Or her mom and his aunt. So, this is that trading up thing that she does. She starts out with the big popular kid in school. She leaves him when she can get with a rich guy. And then she's considering leaving the rich guy because she can get with a bona fide superhero. Or she believes she can get with a bona fide superhero. She's really unlikable. And this is going to continue into the second film when she trades up for an astronaut. I feel like she would know that before this. Oh no, this scene's so bad I forgot about this scene. This is just the worst scene. I said, Spider-Man, I've been staring at Mary Jane through the window into her bedroom for years. Let me tell you, probably do better than that. Oh, it's so cringy, and it's so awkward, and it's so uncomfortable. It sounds like Cap is back. It sounds like he's running. Are you back?
I'm back!
He was running. So, I have a question.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, Mary Jane, suck it. I got a cheeseburger.
This is the worst scene.
You're not Superman, you know.
No, this
That's
is
the scene, right?
this is the big speech scene.
Mmm.
What did you tell Spider-Man? So you did in pretty good time.
25 minutes left.
So when the Green Goblin, thank you. When the Green Goblin shows up to Aunt May's,
Yeah.
what is the plan? He has this big whole thing about how he's going to strike at the heart and make him wish he was dead, right? He shows up
in the hospital, I guess?
Yeah. He just blows up the side of her house and is like, finish it! And then he leaves.
Is it just supposed to be like... Yeah, if it was a warning, sure.
Yeah.
Like, strike at the heart, is that supposed to make him stop? Because, like, that doesn't seem to be his plan. His plan seems to be draw him out and destroy him before it's make him stop being Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Am I understanding this movie right?
I don't think there is understanding this movie.
I don't feel like I missed anything.
You didn't. Well, you missed the Matrix fight.
The Matrix fight. Oh yeah, with the spiky things.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk about that scene. That's okay. Hey, you could play chess on that floor. I couldn't though. I couldn't play.
You want to talk
well.
about that scene now?
Sure. I don't know what I would say about it. Just, I wish I was watching it and then I would have things I wanted to say about it. No, we always argue about whether or not that was actually a comic book thing first. I can never remember. Like if those...
The Blades?
Yeah.
I don't think they are. They might be. I don't know. But, so, he walks in on Harry and, or sorry, on Peter and Mary Jane, just holding hands, having like a nice conversation in front of his dying aunt, and he's immediately like, yep, you were right. You were right about her, Dad.
And he's wearing black because he's in mourning of no longer having a girlfriend.
No, he's in black because his dad likes black. So in that scene...
That's why he never shows up wearing his agent garb when he's talking with his dad.
In that scene where he's like, do what you have to with it, then throw her back.
Oh, I missed that too.
Yeah. It does actually lend to your take on the character.
Yeah.
Because Harry immediately sticks up for him. Mm-hmm. He's immediately like, he's a great man, I should... That's unnecessary. That's
Every
like
now and
that
again, I
scene,
just do that to Eric.
that's like that scene in...
See, it didn't even phase him. I do it all the time.
In Ghost Rider, when Blackheart's just walking through the desert, and then for no reason he gets right up in front of the screen, it's like, whoa! We'll get to it.
You're not Superman, you know. Mm-hmm. Yes, he is. He did this. He's at least Clark Kent.
He works in a newspaper. He wears red and blue.
I like that Aunt May calls him out on not smiling enough. That's kind of great. I haven't seen you do that since Mary Jane was here. I haven't seen you do that this movie, except for like a couple of token places.
He's not really a character that experiences joy. Some might say you're unlikable. I
also wish we could maybe explore a little bit more of his being kind of sheltered.
Yeah.
Because that's a sense I get of him.
Yeah, but it almost seems like the movie thinks that that's, like, quaint and, like, relatable.
And that's the point of it? Like, he can embody the values without feeling like he grew up in the 40s. But I kind of like that idea. I just wish we did something with it. Like Tally Ho and all that. Like, we don't, like, talk about movies you like. And
he never has to confront how that affects him interacting with the rest of the world.
No, you're right, because it's totally superficial the way in which he is kind of looked down by the popular kids.
Mm-hmm.
That should be part of it, where it's like, what were you born 100 years ago? Where's that line?
Yeah,
that should be in there. You know, he's like the blast from the past.
Yeah, no, he really is. And no one addresses it.
Yeah, so see, he's trying to draw him out. Yeah, what was the point? We are just doing scenes.
Mm-hmm. There is no plot to this movie.
Not after a certain point.
Mm-hmm. Once the Green Goblin loses his motivation, we lose.
And once Spider-Man gets his powers, it's like
anything.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the origin's over. Now what? It has that in common with Fantastic Four, but it masks it better by having some fights and things. You know, all the big action set pieces feel like things that if you're not paying attention, maybe there's a story around it.
There isn't.
There's not really. There's themes and ideas that are brought up and then never explored properly.
This is another case, much like Daredevil. This is not a movie you should look at if you're a writer.
Although, again, for whatever reason, I have the same thing that you do. Every time I watch this, I have a totally different experience with it. I'm having more of my classic experience with it today, just with all your complaints and things as we're talking about it. But the last time I watched this, maybe I said this on camera before, I can't remember, but I told you this the other day. I suddenly had a couple of totally different reads on ideas and themes and stuff that I would have loved to have written about.
Where were those?
I don't remember, honestly, because we're talking over the movie.
Hey, I got plenty of ideas about themes, and they're not there.
Did you actually talk about the scenes that you were watching while I was gone?
Yeah.
Or did I get back and you were like, okay, now let's talk about those scenes? Because you're like, let's talk about that scene. And I was like, did you talk about that scene?
No, if you roll back the tape, I'm working through it, and I'm talking about it, and I'm like, I will bring this up to Cap and see what he thinks.
Okay.
No, I did
Cap's
real good, boss.
opinion
I did real good.
Cool, good job. Well done. You get a French fry.
Go ahead.
That's a great line. It really is.
This is why only fools are heroes?
He said facetiously.
Evil will always win, because good is dumb.
Now, I do think that Batman Forever probably played a role in my thinking that this was one of those big tropey superhero things. The sadistic choice.
Yeah. I mean, I think it exists enough to be considered tropey. Now, this does...
I mean, it really doesn't now, but...
This has the same problem as Batman Forever. You can't have this scene without them losing one of them.
I mean, unless you want to... Yeah, you wouldn't have time to stand there and see that going on in your face.
This movie wanted me to respect it. It would let those children die.
Oh, he said it again! No,
Could be my new catchphrase, let those children
die. The optimism,
die.
and it's sappy, but the optimism obviously is supposed to be there's always another way. You know.
But then, the ideas that the Goblin are supposed to be representing need to be more apparent. This needs to be a real optimism versus cynicism kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But the Goblin's just kind of saying things.
Yeah, and hope and responsibility.
Well, that was convenient.
Versus nihilism. Because
this really could have been
Green Goblin,
Joker Dark Knight.
Green Goblin should have been the Joker from the Dark Knight. That's exactly what I was going to say. And that's the Hobgoblin in the 90s Spider-Man show to some degree.
Yep.
You could have brought a little bit of that in it where... Like, wouldn't it have been great if Spider-Man had a line? Because obviously we're just not thinking. We're just making scenes happen, like I said. So
yeah.
What if the next time he saw Green Goblin, he was like, you murdered your board? Was that your whole thing? Although, you couldn't do that because he doesn't know it's Norman Osborn yet. Well, how about some investigation? How about, like, figuring out who he's murdered?
Yeah. We never see
some
Peter
things together.
proactively doing anything about the Goblin.
That's right. And that was one of the big things I complained about when I reviewed it.
Meanwhile, the Goblin is, like, super proactively doing things against Spider-Man. Like, he's not even giving Spider-Man a chance to do anything. Another thing I talked about is that he gives him... He's like, join me or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But he doesn't actually give him a timetable.
Yeah.
And then he just randomly shows up, and he's like, have you decided? Also, I had a whole thing about
Your Green Goblin is kind of Willy Wonka-ish, really. I don't know why. You got nothing! You get nothing.
So, we don't know that those spikes exist until that moment. But that will pay off later.
Oh.
And so that's a sad
At
payoff
least we
thing.
see it.
Not like that Power Ranger spear that we're going to get later.
The what now?
The spear that he just pulls out of nowhere like a Power Ranger's weapon?
Yep, I just didn't hear what you said. Yep.
Oh, I hate this scene. I know why this scene is here.
Yep.
But boy, do I hate this scene.
I was always kind of indifferent towards it, but...
It's just... I don't think I would hate it if it wasn't the fact that we had to do this scene in every movie.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at the time, because the thing is, Spider-Man is not like an all-powerful kind of character. If he seemed more like the everyman teenager, and there was a little bit more, for lack of a better word, realism, at least in character development progression in this movie, that would be kind of a nice thing, because Spider-Man's a character that
isn't all messed up like
screws
Harry's
up
in
a lot
3.
and stuff. I guess it wasn't.
He had the exact same...
I was making an important point, Eric.
I'm sorry.
I guess it was closer there. Nope.
It's almost the same shot. I trained for this. I'm gonna get to use it.
I did it in a montage at my house with Evanescence playing.
No, it was not Evanescence.
Like yes, it was.
It was Nickelback.
It was Evanescence.
No, it was Nickelback.
It was Evanescence.
Telling me I was a hero.
There were sandbags and everything. And then I became someone else.
It is a very similar voice.
It is.
At least our version of it.
Uh-huh. No, I think it's in the same part of your throat. So, Captain Logan, what kind of impressions do you do? Well, I can do Green Goblin from Spider-Man, and I can do
the Dark Overlord.
The Dark Overlord of the Universe.
So what does that sound like? It sounds like this.
What does the other one sound like? About like this.
I remember him saying, "Now you really pissed me off." In the theater, I was like, "Oh man, they said a bad word in a superhero movie."
I had the same thing.
And now it's nothing.
How do you not?
Where'd that come from? Hey, wait! Don't kill me yet. I need to know where that came from.
I realize this is supposed to be a heightened superhero or a comic world with kind of its own rules, but I'm telling you, you should be able to look through his goblin monster mouth and already tell that that's Norman Osborn.
And his eyes.
Unless the idea, like with a lot of movies, is that this is supposed to be darker for them than it is for us. Which it could be one of those scenes. It could be, this is mostly darkness.
It doesn't seem like it, though.
That was Real Ninja Turtles 2, yeah?
Yeah.
That's also a thing we do with supervillains all the time.
It's clearly an homage to the after credit scene of Master of the Universe.
Well, that's the I mean that's the big definitive foundational one that got us.
That got us to Ninja Turtles 2. That got us to here.
We're doing a lot of these commentaries. Some movie that people won't. Yeah, can't disagree with that. But some movie that people aren't going to care as much to hear us talk about. We should just make like the BS commentary where we just make up things. The entire commentary.
Shut up! Don't tell me what to do. I'll tell you whatever I want you to do. Kill him! I don't want to kill him. You should kill him.
And then he flips his coin, and then Spider-Man throws a bunch of other coins into the coin.
We're real ambiguous over whether he's crazy, whether he's like has a split personality. Yeah. Like, is there an inner struggle? I mean, I guess
I do not really quite. I mean, they're supposed to be based on the mirror scene.
Yeah, well, and he's talking to the mask.
And I'm assuming this is Norman Osborn talking and the Goblin pressing the button, but it could just be a ruse. He could just be.
Yeah.
I do not know, especially because he's talking like this, and if he was not talking like that.
Now, this really needs to be the theme of the film. This should be the underline. This is a film about fathers. You're a bad father. I had a good father. Like,
and it's because you're intentionally irresponsible.
Yeah, and it's not at all. It's a line that sums up a film that we didn't see.
Yeah, and the problem with the whole mirroring them with the responsibility message.
That's real uncomfortable. That is.
Yep.
He got him right in the sensitives. Anyways, sorry.
I don't know why that's a repeated line throughout this whole thing.
I know.
I guess. Don't tell Harry. I guess everyone is to blame for his being in the dark and going nuts.
Well, that's why Harry's the way he is. No one ever tells Harry anything.
Yeah. It's see, they're not responsible about it, and it's poor communication, and that's part of personal responsibility. But the problem with doing that with those two characters is that yes, they're both powerful, but one is in complete control of his faculties, and the other one it's muddled.
Mm-hmm. So after this scene,
except that he does do a really irresponsible thing in the first place that gets him there. So I guess there's that. But anyway,
after this scene, that butler comes in and cleans his wounds. Okay. I just want to keep all the continuity clear.
I guess. No, Spider-Man 3 should have been the one that had a subtitle. It's like, you know, the Spider-Man, the retconning. Or,
it should have been called Spider-Man 3, I guess.
Maybe Spider-Man 1.3? Maybe that's what we could have called it? This is almost too much sandwich for me, man.
Spider-Man 3.1. Now.
3.1.
I should call it Spider-Man 2.NHU.
That was before we were doing all that crap.
It was.
Now there are no rules. It's anarchy. It's like this Green Goblin is running Marvel Comics. Maybe this Green Goblin is running Marvel Comics.
It's true. Axel Alonso's been the Green Goblin the whole time.
Yeah, it turns out he's got the dumb Power Ranger mask.
That makes sense.
But he's scarier without it on.
Only the Green Goblin would greenlight Preacher.
I have no idea what he looks like.
Axel Alonso has the Preacher. And Punisher Max. We're just standing over here because no one else bothered to show up at this famous man's funeral.
I know! I don't understand. I'm so tired of being here.
I'm 12. Leave me alone.
What are you laughing at?
It's been so hard without you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you are 12.
So this is the one like hiccup in her being an awful person that always trades up boyfriends. She almost dies, and she has a slight moment of clarity. I'm a terrible person. There's this great guy right in front of me, and the next movie she'll go date an astronaut. And she's right back on track with the terrible person she always is.
Yeah, that's true.
I talked about that whole trading up thing too while you were gone. She starts with the pauper guy, then she goes to the rich guy, then she tries to get the superhero, and then she goes to an astronaut.
Yeah, where it's just real superficial.
Yeah.
We're here, I mean, as sappy as this is, and as much as I don't like the speech, like,
This
is not as superficial. This
is one of the most stilted,
you make
awful
me feel like
speeches
myself.
I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Still better than the speech Peter gives her in the hospital room.
Yeah, that's true.
Still somehow more human sounding than the speech Peter gives in the hospital room.
But I mean, like, you let me be myself, I feel more like myself when you're around me. Those are reasons to date someone.
Yeah, yeah. But we didn't see it in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're not going to see
exactly.
it in the sequels
No, we're
either.
just talking about it.
What you
but
need...
Like, what it is with Flash Thompson and the astronaut and stuff is how other people see me when I'm with those people.
Yeah,
trying to live up to other people's expectations.
What we needed, and this would be thinking about these characters, because they're not even thinking about that. They're not seeing that in their writing. That she clearly is someone who cares more about who she's seen with than who she's actually with. But what we needed...
We're supposed to feel happy for her for a second and then feel like this is real tragic for her and feel bad that he's going to walk away from her.
And it's tragic for him.
That he has to.
Now, to be fair, he has fought one supervillain who is not tied to his origin anyway, so he doesn't have any reason to think that there can't be more. And the first thing that they did was try to murder her.
Yeah.
I buy that he's going to step away.
That's a good reason. Especially because it was, to some degree, his fault that Uncle Ben died.
Look, I know me. I'm not going to be able to keep my identity a secret. You're just constantly going to be in danger, and,
being a superhero is too cool. I'm just going to go around and be like, I'm Spider-Man. Dang it!
But no, and this is kind of what we do in Ultimate Spider-Man, except not as much. Mary Jane in Ultimate Spider-Man is very much, like, she's hot, so people like her, but she's not one of the popular kids. She's still, like, brainy. So she's, like, in a weird place, but...
And she's not, like, using it for personal advantage?
Yeah, yeah. But if we were going to do the character stuff, and we were going to get to this point, we needed them to be friends. Hey, look, it's the menu! Yeah. We needed them to be friends at the beginning of this movie, and when she's with Peter, that's when she lets her hair down. Yeah. They hang out, but not in public.
And you know what's weird? It's the exact same problem with Smallville. They should have been friends in the first place.
Yep.
And then they think about dating later, and...
America!
Weirdly, yeah. It's just post 9/11, that's why that's there.
But it's in all of them. Like, that's the thing that continues, too.
Yeah, but New York City is kind of the big city capital of the United States, so...
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man isn't inherently, like, a really American idea.
Yeah. I'm not actually, I don't think, I take much less issue with that than, it's just weird because it's not like there's American flags in these Spider-Man movies. We stop and showcase Spider-Man on the flag.
Yeah, that's fair. And he's not exactly a patriotic hero.
Yeah, he's not like Captain America. Yeah. Yeah. I would feel hokey if it was Captain America.
Because you know how the other day, you and I were talking about the original Superman 2 versus the Donner Cut?
Yes.
One thing I don't like about the Donner Cut is that it doesn't end with Superman flying to put the American flag back on top of the White House.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that, and you can't have it in that movie because we turn time backwards. But that's a big moment at the end of that movie. I kind of still want that.
They say that a hero can save us.
That's right. I'm
not going to stand here and wait.
I mean, Spider-Man sort of does that, you know. He's got some Al Simmons issues, really.
This is where the song loses me. What eagle? How is it big enough that you can grab onto the wings of the eagle?
Yeah, the lyrics of the song are complete nonsense.
They're insane.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he sings things that just aren't sentences, and he just ways you wouldn't put words together, you know. Love would all say. Why all? Oh, because you need an extra syllable there. Oh, okay.
I don't understand this. Like, there's a theological...
are we just going to sit here and dissect?
Yeah, no, I'm dissecting.
Chad Kroger's hero? Is that what we're doing now?
So he says the thing about
love. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
And how people say love will all save us. And I think that's how he says it, is love will all save us.
Yeah.
Not will save us all, because that doesn't rhyme.
Oh, wait! Is that what? It's inverted word order. All these years I was just like, you don't need that word. Why is it there? It's inverted word. Screw you, Chad Kroger.
But then he says, but look what...
I hate that so much more now.
But then he says, but look what love gave us, a world full of killing and blood spilling. But he's not doing the connective tissue to explain how love gave us that word. Like, what?
It sounds like an argument for anarchy.
Yeah.
It's like, it gave us blood spilling and things, so...
Maybe this song is from the perspective of the Green Goblin. He keeps saying hero, and like, this is him explaining why you shouldn't be a hero. And on the wings of the eagle, he's on the glider, and he's watching... I think the song's from the Green Goblin's perspective.
I want this to be a polka so bad.
Well, that's because I think... Isn't part of this in the Angry White Boy polka?
This? No.
There's a song on this soundtrack.
I don't think so.
That part of it.
No, I didn't even know what the song was. It was just, it opens like a polka, kind of. And
this is Sum 41 rapping about how rock is what they're all about.
Oh, is that the song? That's the song. We were talking about that earlier.
Which is weird in and of itself, because Sum 41's not a rappy band.
Yeah. And also, that's the thing I feel like happened several times. People rapping about rock and roll. Why is that a thing? Like, rock, it's what we're all about. Then why are you rapping? That doesn't make sense.
What they live for. They're shouting
rapping.
out.
And it's Sum 41. They're not even a rap band.
This all makes no sense.
It has nothing to do with
Spider-Man.
Well, that's true. That's why I started singing some of Hero, to provide some context. I'm not going to sing this song, though, because I would just be yelling things.
Oh, now we're just in the 60s Spider-Man. Now, to be fair with the 60s Spider-Man theme thing,
yeah, but isn't it weird in the Amazing movies that it's in his cell phone?
No. And you know why it's not weird? Because that's almost always how we do it.
What do you mean?
Because we always put the theme song of, like, shows into the movies. So, like, in Transformers, there's a phone with the Transformers theme as a ringtone.
Yeah.
I think G.I. Joe does it.
Yeah,
like, that's a thing we do.
Him, because it's like, what is that song in his world?
What is the Transformers theme song in the Transformers world?
Yeah, but Transformers is already kind of silly. Like,
sure.
I don't think that's a good example. Now,
it's the exact same thing!
No, it's not. Because it's one character. It's like, did he make the song? What is that song? Unless it's in the first Amazing movie somewhere. I think maybe it even is.
I don't know.
I can't remember now. But, you know, whatever. Kind of classy of them to put the original.
Well, and it's interesting how far away I feel like we've gotten from it.
Aerosmith one?
Yes,
that's on that soundtrack. They could have put that in there.
But I think it's interesting how this movie feels like a million years ago. When I was a kid growing up, I knew about that 60s cartoon.
Yeah.
And like that was a thing that like I knew existed. I knew that song. I don't think kids now do.
Yeah.
Like we're now, 14 years away from this is now 100 years away from that 60s cartoon.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Oh, and even if they know that cartoon exists,
I don't care if they know it. I know it, and I'm just saying the fact it is a reference to a thing. The fact that I know it just makes me wonder what is that song. But I'm sitting here racking my brain. I think that song maybe also still shows up somewhere in Amazing, and in that case, it might just be a song that got written about the real life Spider-Man, and then it's fine. Except that if you're Peter Parker, would you really want to go around highlighting how much of a Spider-Man fan you are?
No, you don't even want people to know that you know things about spiders.
You wouldn't. That has nothing to do with these movies.
No, go watch Spider-Man page by page.
Yeah.
Which I'm not in.
Yeah. How do you even know about that? Were you just listening when I said that, or?
Well, that's the thing that I've always thought was really funny, and then you brought it up. I don't remember if I heard you or if you said it to me like after, like, there's this thing and it's really. I'm like, yeah, I've always thought that was really funny.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that was one of the more recent ones, wasn't it? And,
yeah.
And it was like 7 or 8 or something. But anyway, well, that's it for Spider-Man, and we got cheeseburgers.
We did get cheeseburgers. You got cheeseburgers. I mean, I ate a cheeseburger.
You watched people eating while I was getting food so we could eat.
It's true. It's true. They had Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, because he got and like it took slightly longer than I wanted it to. Like I think I was pretty quick.
You were
but
quick.
Did get clipped by a bike messenger. I meant to bring that up and throw that out there.
Sorry.
That's why I'm dripping. That's why I'm dripping blood. Where you? Oh my god!
Something just came to my attention.
Something came to his attention. I'm still recording and.
Yeah, that's fine. I was doing Green Goblin. That's what he does. I got clipped by a bike messenger.
I totally thought you were gonna go find something else that could electrocute me. That's really what I thought was gonna happen.
Really funny.
Yeah. For you. Anyway, everybody, thanks very much for watching. Sure appreciate it. We'll see you again tomorrow when we'll be tackling. I want to say.
I don't actually know.
X2?
I think it's X2 then Daredevil.
Or is it's X2 and then Daredevil, I think?
I think so.
Well, anyway.
Daredevil look real bad.
Join us tomorrow and one of those things will happen. And in the meantime, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
See you later.